Okay, so let's get into this. This is a story about a search, right? A quest to find one simple truth. A truth that's kind of buried under this mountain of complexity we all live in. It's about finding that one thing that makes sense of everything else.
So our story kicks off with this pretty shocking confession, actually. You've got this wise old doctor, right? A master of his craft for 60 years, treated over 100,000 patients. You'd think he has it all figured out. But no, he admits he feels empty. And why? Well, it's because he knew how to fix people, but he couldn't for the life of him explain the simple reason why any of his fixes actually work.
I mean, think about it. He realized he'd spent his entire life teaching his students thousands of different techniques, all these amazing tools. He gave them the how-to, but he completely missed the most important part, the single unifying why behind it all. It's like he gave them this huge, sprawling forest of branches, but totally forgot to show them the root that feeds the whole tree.
And, this feeling of being lost in the weeds, it's a trap we can all fall into. Doesn't matter what you do, doctor, engineer, CEO, you name it. It happens when we start confusing the different levels of understanding, when we start thinking the tool in our hand is the ultimate truth. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. The thinking here breaks knowledge down into 4 layers. Let's walk through them. At the very bottom, you've got the tool, the actual physical stuff you use. Then one level up, you have the method, which is, the specific techniques. Above that, you find the law. These are the universal patterns of how things really work. And right at the very top, the big one, the single core principle, the way. But here's the kicker, right? Where do most of us spend all our time and energy? Right down at the bottom. We spend our entire careers getting amazing at the tools and the methods. We become total experts in the how. But we almost never look up and ask, wait, what's the fundamental law here? What's the core principle that all this work is even serving?
So, what is that core principle? What's the way? Well, after a search that lasted 50 years, the author came to a pretty profound conclusion. If you strip everything away, all the methods, all the fancy theories, every single tool, you're left with just one single concept, one idea that connects absolutely everything.
And that concept is qi. Now, hold on, it's not some mystical, magical force. The best way to think about it is like the fundamental operating system of reality. Seriously, it's the basis for all movement, all change, all existence, period. Doesn't matter if we're talking about your body, an entire ecosystem, or even a Fortune 500 company. Okay, so this idea of qi, it's not static. It doesn't just sit there. It's always in motion, and it expresses itself in 4 fundamental ways. 4 universal directions of movement that, once you see them, you'll start noticing in literally any system you can think of.
So first up, we have flow. This one's pretty simple. It's all about circulation and movement. How does stuff get from A to B? Whether that's energy or information or materials. The key question is the path clear or is something getting in the way?
Number 2 is transformation. Think of this as the system's engine. It's all about its ability to take something in and convert it into something useful on the other side. Like how your body turns a sandwich into energy, or how a company can take a rough idea and transform it into a real product.
Third, you've got response. This is basically the system's intelligence. It's the feedback loop. How well does it sense what's going on around it and then adapt? Is it sharp and quick on its feet, or is it kind of numb and slow to react?
And last but not least, number 4, decline. Or as science calls it, entropy. And this one's a biggie. It's just the unavoidable, universal truth that all systems, over time, naturally wear down and lose order. It's that quiet, constant pull towards, decay.
So you take these 4 ideas together, and suddenly you've got this incredibly powerful tool for understanding, anything. Because once you learn to spot these 4 directions, I'm telling you, you'll start seeing them absolutely everywhere.
And this is what's so cool about it. Look at this, a blockage in your blood circulation. That's the exact same underlying problem as a communication breakdown in a company. It's a problem of flow. A weak immune system is just like a company that ignores its customers. It's a failure of response. See? It's all the same fundamental logic.
What this all boils down to is that any problem in any system, whether we're talking about an illness, a struggling business, a personal crisis, it's just an imbalance in one or more of these 4 directions. That's it. Sickness is just another word for a blockage, stagnation, and decay. And health? Health is nothing more than smooth flow, active transformation, and a sensitive response. Okay, so the big question now is, what do you do with this? How can you actually use this mental model? How can you take this simple framework and use it to slice right through all the complexity in your own life?
Well, it's actually pretty straightforward. We get a simple, but I mean seriously powerful 4-step diagnostic tool. Here's how it works. First, pick any problem you're dealing with. Then, ask yourself the 4 questions. Is it flowing? Is it transforming? Is it responding? Or is it just decaying way too fast? Once you pinpoint the main imbalance, you just take one small focused step to help restore that balance. That's it.
See, when you shift your focus away from the thousands of confusing branches and you zoom in on these 4 simple, universal directions, you basically get a key that can unlock almost any complex problem. It just reframes everything. So here's my question for you. When you start looking at your world through this lens, what's a problem that used to seem impossibly complex that now seems surprisingly simple?